Ladies and gentlemen, we have persevered through a wet and rainy spring towards a major event indeed. I hear my co-caster laughing at my over-dramaticisms already as we come into a huge game in the Irish Dota League taking place between No Tormentor and Skiddy's Angels. I am Rununtel, and joining me for the first time in a long time, and a welcome addition back to the cast, we have Maniac. Maniac, how are we doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I feel like we've missed each other quite a lot over these past few casts. We've grown apart, but happy for our reunitedness.
Star-crossed lovers in fair Dota where we set our seed. Let's see how this game gets on. So these opening picks, we see the Shadow Fiend for No Tormentor, which they do flex between Tweets and Wetorme, and Skiddy's Angels go straight for the Sky Largo. We saw how good this was in their last few series. It's the one thing that seems to be winning them games at the moment. What do we think about these first picks?
We're seeing a bit of a transition now that we're in like the later stages of the tournament. At the start, everyone was kind of feeling each other out, and they just didn't want to play against these like supports like Jakiro, Warlock, Shadow Demon, etc. And they were just trying to get rid of those to make sure that the game was as fair as possible. And now I feel like teams have a more concise idea of like, I just need to get this and I can beat these guys. And so that's why we're able to see first pick Shadow Fiend and Largo coming out.
And a reminder, looking at the bracket here, I just have confirmation. This is round 2 of the brackets. We're still waiting for that other seed, the other side of the bracket for Wong's Bakery. But the winner of this will progress, and the loser of this will be going down into the lower bracket to face off against either Central Island Esports or the Pegs, according to the website. The second pick for No Tormentor is the Clockwork. I can say with almost certainty that is Faith Kian on that Clockwork. He's playing nothing but Clockwork in his ranked games for the last week and a half.
Yeah, and it's fairly safe to say that you're looking at your carry, your safe lane right here with the SF and the Clockwork. Super strong lane, especially for if they felt like putting this Largo in the 3 position, which I don't know if they do on Skiddy's Angels, but I think he'd have a very difficult time up against this lane.
I think it's highly, highly likely on Skiddy's Angels they did plan to put this Largo 3. We've seen Sky play it quite a lot this season. It's been, honestly, their way back into points this season has been getting Sky onto the Largo. I mean, were putting him on Tide in the early games. It wasn't quite working out for them. But since he's transitioned towards playing Largo, they've had a lot better performances. So I'm not surprised to see it. The clock, though, as you said, very good at dealing with that Largo. The follow-up pick for Skiddy's Angels is the Disruptor, which will likely be PAYYD on that. How do you rate Disruptor into Clock SF?
It's a hero that can protect himself a little bit from the Clockwork at least, but I think hopefully you just want to be avoiding these 2 heroes as much as possible. So it's probably safe to say that this was just part of their game plan, regardless of the enemy picks, because it doesn't per se do anything to the enemy picks right now.
Yeah, as someone who plays a lot of Disruptor, I would not like to be the Disruptor in this situation. Sure, you have that glimpse for the Clockwork when it gets on you, but by the time you get that off, the rest of his team has arrived and you're just fucking dead either way, right?
Yeah, definitely can feel like that. And they pick up the Hoodwink, so cementing themselves with this Largo as an offlaner or potentially a mid laner. I don't know if Solar Crest has any games in this. You probably know better than I do.
He's Australian, but he is neither a frog nor a musician, so unfortunately does not fulfill the criteria of a Largo picker. I've not seen him play it. Perhaps he does. It feels like the kind of thing he plays, right? Insofar as it's support that goes mid, it's very flashy, it feels very Solar Cresty, but I haven't seen him play it. The next pick of a Tormentor is likely going to be Corey on the Bristleback, and the Jakiro, which I think we might see pulled into the Clockwork into a 4 on that basis. It's a weird choice.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an interesting one. I think I would still like to see the Jakiro
10 seconds remaining.
laning in the off lane at least, so that you have melee ranged lanes, avoiding any doublings up. But definitely a bit of an interesting pick, but that's just a symptom of what happens when you leave Jakiro to this stage of the draft. It's one of the most contested heroes in the game right now, so maybe they just felt like it'd be rude not to, you know.
Rude not to indeed, and the kill threat in both of these No Tormentor lanes feels extremely scary, and I don't know if I'd say the same about Skiddy's Angels at this point. Obviously, Hoodwink Reese is an absolute hero specialist on this Hoodwink, So he is going to make things happen. He has that innate built-in break for the bristle as well, which is nothing to be scoffed at.
Yeah, both of these drafts say to me that they kind of have a good idea of what they want to play. For the most part, that is just comfort. We've seen these guys on these heroes before, and they're just confident that if they get these heroes, they can win the game regardless of the enemy heroes. Because I don't think either teams look super like countered by each other.
Next pick up for the side of Skiddy's Angels is the Gyrocopter. Now, with the picks they have so far, that's not a very flexible Gyrocopter. That's almost certainly going to be in that pause 1 position, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And
10 seconds remaining.
we're seeing, we don't know 100% if they were cemented on this midway through the draft, but they've definitely ended up as like, okay, we need to win team fights in the mid to late game, because these lanes look like they will be an absolute nightmare for them. So whereas we're seeing no Tormentor looking stomping these lanes, taking towers early with Jakiro, Bristleback, SF, and just trying to end this game around the like 25-minute, 30-minute mark. Skiddy's Angels want to take this a bit later. They want to win the big scraps and come back into the game this way, which in the past has looked to be no Tormentor's weakness. They are a very good laning team, but they have been outmaneuvered on the map in these super late game situations by Sentinel and Wongs.
I think another issue for Skiddy's Angels here is you mentioned how weak their lanes are. Their final lane, that mid lane, no Tormentor are going to get the direct response mid pick, which into most mid laners is important, but into a mid laner like Solar Crest with an Ember Spirit band, he's so fond of these cheesy mid laners, your Coddles, your Quops, etc., that I feel like he's almost more open to being punished by a second pick mid than most.
Yeah, I would love it if they were able to flex this Largo to mid. You say that you think it's unlikely, and it looks like no Tormentor think that it's unlikely as well with their bans. But this is where we could potentially see the biggest mismatch of the game. What with Tweets having shown himself to be pretty formidable on this lane, and Solar Crest only being a part-time mid laner.
Part-time mid laner, full-time tall Australian. Let's see what he's able to pull off in this final pick. We've seen a lot of interesting picks from this season, but so many of them banned out here. No Coddle, no Batrider, no Sniper to speak of, no Earth Spirit to speak of. They've really focused hard on the bans on Mr. Solarcrest here, and they're eating into that reserve time. I mean, is he going to go something more classic? Maybe something just like a Quap here? Keep it simple? Mid-game team fight?
They're going to have to make a decision. They do indeed go for the Quap.
Easy. Makes sense here. What do you do to counter this immediately in lane? It's a hard thing to counter in lane, but does any mid matchups just completely bolster it? Something like a Puck potentially?
Puck is not as one-sided as it was for a long time, but it is definitely there. One thing that Solarcrest has going for him is Tweets hasn't really lent towards these like lane dominating matchups. His biggest strength has been in just like out farming the enemy mid laner, eventually taking their tower, and then just being another core.
I gotta say, some fun stuff here in terms of the time left over. You know, Skiddy's Angels used the last 5 seconds of the reserve time. I just noticed no Tormentor had 2 minutes left of reserve time by the time they got to that final pick. Faith Gian is clearly a decisive man in this instance, which is definitely not what I know of him as a human being. So interesting to see that he's managed to change that. I'm proud of the guy. You know, it might be bald, but at least he's improving.
Yeah, and yeah, nice to see him playing a playing a mid hero, you know.
Yeah. Waiting on this last pick for No Tormy. I mean, if the Puck is there, you said they don't like playing these super hard, just win the mid lane heroes. What else is left for them then here? Maybe something like a Void Spirit. They obviously want some lockdown for the Queen of Pain. A Storm would feel pretty damn sexy here, with the exception of the Disruptor. And they're going to go for the DK. So very stable. You're definitely right in that assumption.
Yeah, this is pretty on brand for what Tweets has gone for in the past, and kind of it fits broadly what we've said about the draft, right? Like they very much just want all outer towers, and then Tormentor, Roche, end the game. Probably around the second Roche timing. So yeah, in their ideal world, you're seeing them stomping all 3 lanes and ending the game at about 30 minutes. So this is Skiddy's game to kind of try and throw a spanner in those works and try and offset some of that momentum.
Well, if any team knows about spanners, it's no Tormentor. They have the electrician himself, Corey's bristleback, ready to go, as well as the biggest spanner, my boy Faith Kiad. So let's see, they're able to throw themselves into the works in this game 1 of our series. We're going to see Faith Kian and Weathermay on the safe lane, Corey and Punjabi in the off lane, and Tweets on the Dragon Knight in the mid lane. On the opposing side, we're going to see the Largo paired up most likely with the Hoodwink of Reese, the Disruptor alongside the Gyro, and the Quap of Solar Crest will be up against Tweets in that mid lane. I think you're dead right. Definitely a more tempo draft coming out from the side of No Tormentor. But if Skiddy's Angels can live through this onsite and get some farm onto Fish, I mean, it's a natural Silver Edge builder, and there's 2 very good heroes to hit with that this game. And also, you know, I think with that Largo Ags, with those mid-game team fights, with that Quap Scream, these mid-game team fights look pretty damn rough, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think I kind of feel like I have to put the win probability on No Tormentor side in this one. I think they've gotten everything that they wanted. I don't think Skiddy's Angels didn't get what they wanted per se, but No Tormentor in this tournament have looked like maybe the strongest team when they have everything that they need, and yeah, it looks like they've got that.
Let's see if they're able to put out of the bag here. Reminder, this is an upper bracket game between these 2 teams. They have faced off before. It finished in a 1-1 between these 2 teams. Run and Tell and Mr. Maniac take you through this one. And a big shout out, as always, goes to our wonderful observer, Auntie, who's going to be keeping stuff on the screen this stream. Let's see how they get into one. Seems like all 5 of the side of No Tormentor are starting to split up a little bit as they rough out. Corey, of course, throwing some shade over at Sky as soon as this game begins. It's worth noting for anyone watching at home, there is a lot of previous relationships between these 2 teams. Faith Kian and Solar Crest normally play on teams together. This is one of the first tournaments where they haven't. In fact, Solar Crest introduced the Irish scene through Faith Kian. And then also we have Corey and Reese, 2 people who have played together on teams for multiple years, I would say 5+ years, facing off against each other. And also Sky, they're kind of a trio. And Corey and Sky have a long-lasting grudge about who is the best offlaner in UK Dota. So perhaps we'll have that question answered today.
Yeah, possibly. It's looked like a fairly one-sided grudge over the course of this tournament, at least. But like you say, it's nice that I feel like Sky's niche has always been in finding what aspect of the meta he's like most able to fit his playstyle into, and it didn't look like he was able to do that on Tide at the start. Obviously last patch it was Dawnbreaker, which he had a ton of success on, and yeah, he started to have some of that success in the Largo, but this hero has a skill curve for sure, so it's exciting to see how he might progress throughout this.
It is a skill curve, and it's also a hero that needs some big items to come online. I mean, if you don't get that Aghanims going by the time that the Death Ball of No Tormentor starts rolling, it feels like a pretty useless fish until you get that item. So I think what they're going to try to do is just really delay. I think he's kind of their team fight timing in this game, and while he's doing that, undoubtedly, Mr. good old Corey will be building up some auras on this bristleback, getting ready with things like that pipe to stop them from being able to have that mid-game team fight they want to have. So going to be some interesting itemization, going to be a super interesting game. Both teams, though, choosing to make it as uninteresting as possible by not invading the opposite side at this level 1, which I'm surprised No Tormentor don't with how strong their level 1 is. You know, you've got Bat, you've got Bristleback, you've got Clock, you've got Shadow Fiend. Seems like a lot of strong things level 1.
Yeah, it's probably just like that's the only way to, like, you already know that you should win all 3 lanes, so that's the only way to potentially ruin that is by giving Solar Crest a first blood from like a botched move, because these things can never be guaranteed.
Seems like Corey and Reese are having some fun in the old chat at the start of this game. Him getting pepper sprayed by the Quill Spray is a fun idea indeed. Let's have a look at these lanes. So we said that No Tormentor definitely has a bit of a lead in them, and immediately Reese, the level 1 battery assault allowing Faith Kian just kind of walk him down deal some damage there and force the 1v1 with the Largo, which at this point, triple raises landed there by the Shadow Fiend. Really well played. And Faith Kian actually takes out Sky's couriers. There's going to be no more regen coming in. They drop the blood grenade on the Clockwork, but it's a little bit too early, so they aren't able to convert that into any pressure, especially while the Shadow Fiend has that level 1 raises, so it doesn't do as much damage as you would like. Faith Kian, though, being a real menace with this battery assault, but needs to be careful as he is now also blood grenaded up, but he does have a Shadow Fiend standing in between him and these two heroes. He just about lives there on the Clockwork, and Weathermay unable to turn that around quite yet. But Faith Kian, he's still hanging around with very little HP. He needs to be really careful here. Bushwhack comes off cooldown in 1 second if he gets it off, and it looks like he's going to, but he gets stunned up instead by the Clockwork, so he can't get it off, unfortunately, here on Reese, and it's Weathermay with the first blood on the Shadow Fiend, and he did get the Necromastery right before that first blood, so immediately up to 12 souls.
Yeah, not what you want, but also, yeah, one of the bigger mismatches in terms of lane. I mean, we said from the get-go, Largo's already going to struggle with this. Weetorm is like probably the best laner in the league at the moment. I've laned against him a fair few times, and he can be super oppressive, especially on this SF hero.
Another go now onto Largo. Needs to be careful here on Sky. Sky still with only 4 last hits to his name. Most of them catchy lick range creep that he gets. So they really need to be able to do something here against the Shadow Fiend. But with all this pressure they're putting into them, they're back to full HP, back to full mana. Meanwhile, top lane, they are making a really good go here out onto Punjabi. When times are tough, Punjabi gets going. Can Corey do something about this? It doesn't seem like he is. So a lane that should have been very favored towards the side of No Tormy. A nice early kill there off the back of a glimpse plus a use of that rocket barrage. Gets them back into this lane top, and very needed as we look at these last hits. Sorry, the big discretion here. The mid lane 17-3 to 9-0 at this point.
Yeah, the mid lane always gonna struggle. It's gonna be a lot of onus on whether or not these supports are able to move down for the runes, because DK won't really prioritize that nearly as much, and if Quap's able to get something out of that, then she can find her way back into the game in that way. But Quap, not a single faceted hero, she can definitely come back in a multitude of ways, so we're not on disaster watch just yet.
Indeed, but a really strong start from the Tormentor boys as Largo once again pushed back. That's 2 raises pumped out onto him. He does have the regen up from the catchy link, which does keep him alive for now. There's a Fortify on the side of the Radiant from an attempted go top. I believe it was to stop him from just being able to get off the flak cannon, maybe? Kind of a weird one.
Yeah, potentially. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some mid lane stuff trying to stop someone getting their level at the right time or something. I don't know, these people press the glyph at crazy times. I'm just a humble support player. I press it when people are hitting my tower, you know?
Sometimes I don't. I forget to. And meanwhile, Tweaks does pop Solar Crest in the mid lane. A big kill for them to get, and an immediate tip from Weathermay onto Tweets, congratulating his mid laner for that kill. And we said earlier, Quap's not quite at disaster stations yet, but this feels like this might be a route towards it. And Faith Kianzi on top of Sky. Sky's hit up with the cog. Sky's going to go down here, and down indeed he does go on the Frog. The Frog is dead, and Faith Kian walking in towards Onyx's favorite squirrel. Meanwhile, top lane though, Punjabi does manage to get glimpse back, so that is the one solace they have here, is that the safe lane is actually going surprisingly well for the side of the Skiddy's Angels.
Yeah, and Fish should be their saving grace a little bit in these games. Also a pretty strong carry, although he is a little bit off what I know is like a signature Fish hero. He's a bit of a Viper SF specialist himself. This gyro's a bit of a new one, but also not exactly rocket science.
Indeed, and I appreciate the pun you put there. The Rocket Man with the rocket science. He's doing pretty good. 25-4 on this gyro. The Largo also recovering to a certain extent, but still, all 3 lanes looking like they're pretty tasty here for the side of No Tormentor. Potential go here onto the Disruptor. The Disruptor is out-leveling the Jackro, which is something that really shouldn't happen necessarily. And with 2 points in Glimpse, he's suddenly a lot scarier, a lot more oppressive. And we see that straight away as Punjabi's caught again in this top lane. He's not even going to have a TP when he dies this time. Weathermay also going down to Reese in the bottom lane. So suddenly lanes falling apart for the side of No Tormentor.
Yeah, and these kills, they're they're not going to do anything to ultimately change the like the farm state of the map. It's pretty safe to say that SF is still going to be probably the highest net worth hero at 10 minutes, but they very much keep you in the game mentally and give you a bit of security for what's going to happen after those 10 minutes.
That kill also giving Reese the space to move in towards that bottom room and pick up the invis room, which he maintains to this point. Faithkian doesn't see him. They do ping it out, though, so they do know that Reese is hanging around somewhere near there. 3 heroes now sitting in this mid lane, and recognizing this, they immediately go top. Fish is trying to put pressure onto this Bristleback. Bristle is only level 4 as well, so he could be in huge trouble here on Corey, and Corey taking advantage of being left alone. He goes down. They're able to kill him. They see the rotations. Now it's rotation instead, this time by the Frog to stop the go on mid. So an unsuccessful rotation there from the side of No Tormentor, and a really successful recognition of that and the kill in this top lane. This Gyro is going to start getting pretty damn farmed soon, Maniac.
Yeah, and Gyro, not a hero that's ultimately gonna change the pace of the mid game of this game. But as we said, like they need to be able to have enough farm going into that point of the game to be able to win those team fights, so that they can have their way back in. And Fish is like definitely securing himself the possibility for that.
The one big issue at the moment, though, is this mid lane, as we said before. Solarcrest closing in on being overtaken by his own disruptor at this point, which is not something you want to see. And right as I say that, Faithkian skirting on the edges. Jackro also has stuck around. Will Faithkian, is it enough mana drain? Can he get him? No, but he is going to make him immediately walk away here on the Quap as the Jackro comes in to pressure that mid tower. And he's getting wailed by these right clicks, as well as that Breed Fire, forced to go back to base, which will probably spend likely the end of this tower in this mid lane.
Yeah, which is like end of the day fine as we have a go out bot. Nothing too feisty, but yeah, Skiddies need to be conscious of the fact that these towers will die, and it's all just about how stemming the amount of bleeding that happens around these towers dying. Disruptor blocking a couple of camps here, being as annoying as possible. They just need to not leak heroes while the towers die, because it's inevitable.
Ooh, a Haste Rune comes out here from the Dragon Knight. Can get the stun off after the use of that Glimpse. Instead, he holds it so he can get the right clicks off afterwards. That's why he's a better player than I am. Gets hit up as well with that Electromagnetic. Does he not have a level on the stun? He must not. No, he doesn't. He's gone for the 3-4 build, so absolutely no level in Dragon Tail, but it doesn't seem like it matters. He still is able to run down PAYYD and just through pure brute force take down that Disruptor. The rotation top didn't quite work out, but that's another kill for the Dragon Knight. The Dragon Knight is getting extremely large. Almost finished the Blink Dagger, just 500 gold off.
Yeah, they'll have ways to bring him down. If there's something that Skiddies have shown that they are decent at, it's after their laning phase goes disastrously, they've been pretty good at like dragging waves, cutting, and all of this stuff that you need to make the team go undesirable places to kill you.
Paul Skiddies, My Chemical Romance fans, the way they're good at cutting an attempted go in this top lane. The Jackro is there. They dropped the cogs. They're bouncing him left and right here on the Disruptor. But in the meantime, Reese taking out the side of this fight. Faithkian just about stays alive and creates enough space for the goo to come out, which knocks down PAYYD. It's 2 kills, soon to be 3. As you said, they are going to bleed a lot of kills around this objective, and the most important kill they could get is the Gyrocopter. They're going to take him down and take the tower down immediately thereafter.
Yeah, where Dragon Knight is, you need to not be, is going to be the story of this game, at very least until Largo gets his Ags. Largo hero that loves to play from ahead. We're going to have to see here how Sky is able to make this work from behind.
Use of that double damage rune, an immediate blink out onto the Quap. Punjabi not there in time to get off that ice path, so really good heads up blink there by Solarcrest. Certainly keeps him alive, but with this dragon form popped, it's going to run out in a few seconds, but he is still going to have this amp damage rune. He's going to want to use it, and indeed he does, as he pops off a ton of damage onto Reese, enough that Punjabi with the ice path and that last little click is able to finish off the Hoodwink. So 8-5 to No Tormentor, and suddenly we're at 10 minutes with a 4k lead leading their way. Is that more than it should have been, considering the lane advantage they have?
I honestly think that it's probably about to be expected. They don't have ways of clearing these waves on supports, and so while the cores are forced to jungle, everyone else is farming pretty slowly.
Jumping now onto Solar Crest. Solar Crest hit up with this battery card. Nice use there of the Ice Path as well. Means that C is going to go down. They might take out Faith Kian, but is that enough? The Dragon Form is ready to go if he wants to try and get away from this one, but he has the damage block Glimpse with the Static Storm, but no Kinetic Field because he used it earlier, which enables him to walk away. The Lick is there. Can they get away from this one? It feels like they're going to take him down. It's a huge kill. End up trading 2 for 1.
Yeah. Anything to slow him down. He didn't use the Dragon Form, so he is still going to have that up for whatever they choose to be their next objective.
Another potential go here. They do catch out that Dragon Knight. They have the Cloak of Genius as well as the use of that Static Sword. Very, very nice out of the Kinetic Field. He gets off the ultimate the last second here on Weathermay, and the follow-up on Solar Crest. Down goes your Queen of Pain. He misses the Bushwhack from the Hoodwink. They still have the Largo, though. They need to be really careful about protecting the Shadow Fiend. But look at Weatherway. The way he's using these trees still gets licked in, will go down, but still takes the positive trade for himself. Faith Yan just telling the creeps, giving them a little high five for reading him there.
Celebratory hookshot. Yeah, I think it's... Skiddies can probably call this a win. I don't think it is one, but like if they want to feel better about themselves, they could be like, it's okay, we got SF. But really disastrous for Quap is the big problem here. She just died for the last kill on DK, respawned, immediately went for the kill on SF, died again. Setting herself back from her Kaya, which isn't even... That's meant to be her item into the game. That's not even like her timing item.
And these stacks being scouted out by the side of the Tormentor boys. They see the tower and they immediately go to steal them for themselves. It's only a double stack, but it's still an important one to get when your heroes are this far behind. And the Dragon Knight being able to take those means that he is even larger now with that finished up blink, as well as that BK being the unit next time he goes into. When he has that, I just don't know how they kill him, especially since Corey in this offlane has been farming up a Storm in the meantime, finished the Vanguard, building in towards that Crimson. They are recognizing this, they're trying to make a move on him. He immediately teleports, you recognize the blink is used early, and he just gets out of that one, cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to Corey, because as we said, his lane was pretty fucking disastrous with his Jakiro Pos 4, and they made his game better. They took his tower, and now he's just played right in front of the enemy tower the whole time, forcing them to address him. And then when they do go to address him, it would have been a fine death, but he doesn't even burn that death.
Smoke now popped from the side of No Tormentor. They're moving in. It looks like they see the Quap on this mid lane with this creep wave approaching, so this could be a potential go for them. They're moving in towards the triangle. Just a Hoodwink there to try and stop the go, but the Largo now shows in the bottom lane. They're making an attempted go on this 14-minute room, but the entire side of Skiddy are here, and they pop the ultimate to push Reese away from that Wisdom, and they've got it for themselves. They're going to kill off the Hoodwink. Largo looks like he's going to go down next. They do as well take that Shrine of Wisdom, while Corey takes the one at the opposite side of the map. A huge double kill and double Wisdom secured 14 minutes.
Yeah, pretty nice heads up smoke there for the Wisdom rune timing, and Largo dying again before his Ags.
Tweets, you cannot do that.
Nope, that is frowned upon.
Highly frowned upon around these parts. Go game 2, I suppose. Unlucky, it was looking like a good early game.
Yeah, unfortunate. And maybe what they need the most.
Surely not, guys. Surely not. We're not doing this. Are they actually going to try claim the... Guys, come on.
Relax.
I hope that like one of them just has a broken keyboard or something, because if they're actually trying to text an admin right now to claim a game 1 victory, I swear to God, I'll flip my computer.
Yeah, you're allowed to be upset about it, but you're not allowed to. I think trying to fight your case to a death win here is probably a bit of a bit far.
Indeed. Corey has been let off the niche recently because he gets the Yurnan into chat and then drops the 0-1-2 for himself. Aw. Truly an unleashed Bristleback this game.
Okay, well, looks like it was just tech issues. They'd rather beef each other than explain what the issue was, but we're back into playtime now.
Either that or Taylor said to Very Swift, "Fuck right off."
Yeah,
Fuck
fuck up.
In any actuality, we're back into this game, and we're back now looking at this Shadow Fiend who has completed up the Dragonlance and is building to an immediate Silver Edge.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to see why he's going for it, and Weetorm has shown himself multiple times to be a win more player.
Ooh, blocking the hook.
This does give Skiddy's a way in. He has no defensive item.
Ooh, good hook shot there for Faithcan. Does catch out the Largo, and he stays here on Reese to try and get a follow-up kill on Punjabi at least, but Punjabi is going to go down to the Frog Stomp at least, but they lose Sky in order to do so, and Sky, without that Aghanim Scepter. In the meantime, a go on this top lane. The glimpse is there just not in time for Fish on the gyro to get out. He does escape on the skin of his teeth on this Disruptor, but losing your 1 and 3 at opposite sides of the map while your Shadow Fiend farms the mid lane feels fucking bad, man.
It does indeed. Sky needs his supports to be able to make these moves without him. Needs to acknowledge that he's not a hero without this Axe, especially from this far behind.
TP comes out from Reese, but Reese is going to be TPing his way back to base with a slight 30-second delay, it would seem, as the Dragonite continues to enact his reign of terror onto the side of the Tormentor. Actually changing item builds now on the DK, recognizing the fact that he has barely been touched. He chooses to go for the Hurricane Pike instead of his originally planned BKB.
Yeah, and like I said, no BKBs are always a sliver of hope for the enemy team, but they are going to pick themselves up the Aegis here, it looks like, without any kind of contest, and that will start to make it look very difficult. We'll probably just see them start to play for the Tormentor, the top tier 2. And it's up to Skiddies to do their best to run him around a little bit while they do that, which is something Reese has been very good at in the past.
Most certainly, this Hoodwink hero, when it has its levels like this, we said in the early game one of the weaknesses of this draft was just their inability for supports to just immediately push out waves. But when you have a bit more damage with this Hoodwink, that does become a little bit easier, might be able to push some goes. But Faith Kian, recognizing that that is their path to win this game, immediately pops that smoke. They start splitting up somewhat. They're moving in towards this bottom lane. They see the blink from the Quap onto the wave. Looking a little dicey, Mr. Crest. Bling, bling. Australia's calling. Run the fuck away. And it doesn't seem like he recognizes the danger that lies within, but they break the smoke instead onto the Hoodwink. But in comes Faith Kian with a wonderful use there of the hook shot, completely on point. Oh, fucking hell, mate. He fucking jumped on top of me. Down he goes. Oh, fucking Sheila. He jumped me. And down he goes. I think I've just been banned from Australia for life. But in any actuality, they can now barrow down this lane with reckless abandon, right?
Yeah, I mean, respectable target priority from them. They didn't settle for the... They found Reese first. Reese doing what he should be doing, popping that smoke. They could have just taken the easy kill with him, but actually just like completely went past him, ignored him, went for the bigger fish, and managed to get it themselves.
A little bit of a Shadow Fiend dance going on there. Whenever I see those Shadow Fiend arms moved, I'm immediately reminded of our dearest admin, Mr. Taylor Dota. Once found a guy at a club who also knew Dota, so they started doing Dota dance moves to each other, and apparently their favorite one was to both do the Shadow Fiend dance to each other. Would you see that much in your club, Moth? Much Shadow Fiend dancing? No,
because we ID at the door.
Oh, okay, excellent. we checked the register. Speaking of being checked, he actually gets immediately killed here on Mr. Fish, and he glimpses him into a double kill. Nice.
Yeah. Fish getting a little bit brain mogged by the superior arms of the SF upper body. Quap as well, now getting stunned up. It should be fine, but they're really struggling to get out onto the waves to get anything. They have yet to get themselves a tier 1 tower. We expected it to be rough, and we're still a little bit away from it being into complete dire straits territory, but they're going to need to decide what objective is coming up in the next couple of minutes that they want to defend.
They do have a finished Ags on Largo now, and the Kaya finally coming out here for the Queen of Pain. So perhaps using your own lingo here, Moth, they will stop Jester maxing on the side of Skiddy's Angels, start bringing themselves back into this game. But for now, especially as long as this big Aegis is up, they're just going to push in this top wave and take what should be an extremely free Tormentor. I mean, you're hoping you don't get under supports this game. It's less value Torm than usual, so you go get Jetpack. Oh. If he had hookup fast, that would have been sick. But in any actuality, it still works out because he has the Cox. Nice use there of the catchy lick to keep his team alive. Attempted use of the Ice Path is unsuccessful from Punjabi.
This is where Largo thrives, though.
Indeed it is, and he has the Ags, and he's moving in towards them. They need to be a little bit careful here on the side of No Tormy. They do still have this Aegis. It is up for another minute and 30 seconds, so this is not the fight. Take your time, take it easy, use the Croco Genius in your quap and push out your waves, and let them get the Tormentor. Who cares? They're going to get Jetpack or bonus damage on Jacaro. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, good discipline from both teams, to be honest. Neither team overextending for their small wins. But I think already we saw a little bit of a sign of life there from Skiddies. This Largo Ags is probably one of the best Ags in the game, and we already saw like the speed which he was able to move his team in this fight, and then being able to bring Gyro back into it pretty quickly with the healing as well. There's I do think there's glimmers of hope here.
Immediately after that fight, two big lines drawn on the map by Corey, of course, the lines master himself, immediately drawing them down there like he does all the ladies that he leads. And the kill is instantaneous on Sky. Nice Ags, bro, they say. They're not done yet as they immediately catch on to this Gyrocopter. Gyro, no BKB to speak of. Still 3,000 gold away from that. It does get glimpsed. The teleport is there. They don't quite connect on them in 1 second until Dragon Dial gets out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yep. They're still playing. They're still pressing their buttons. They're still awake. They just... Oh my god. They just sadly have to... It's inevitable. They have to bleed every now and then. And it looks like there's still quite a bit of bleeding to do left, but it's nice to see that there's some signs of life. There is something to be said for the fact that when you're this far ahead, your game plan is very linear. It's not rocket science what No Tormentor are going to be doing. There's one more tier 2 on the map left to get. They've already taken the Tormentor. After that, they basically have to wait for the next Roche. So that's 2 or 3 minutes that Skiddies have to assemble a game plan.
And they're going to try here with the break immediately onto that Bristleback. They did spot up the Shadow Feed, but Solarcrest dies just too quickly here on that Quap. And in the meantime, Faith Cam with the hook shot lands it immediately onto Reese. Needs to be careful here on Fish. Fish hit up with the Macropyre. Nice use there of that Static Storm to keep him alive, but will it do so? Corey is willing to dive this one to the ends of the earth, but not quite that far. He gets very low on Bristleback. A very important uphill miss. And now a glimpse onto Corey. Really nicely played there with POID. They actually get a good kill out of it, but they do have to buy back their Hoodwink for that one, unfortunately.
Looks like they're considering a bit more. Weetorn playing his usual cocky self. He is dusted up.
Indeed he is, but his damage output is so high right now. They drop the Glimmer Cape. In comes the ginormous Dragon Knight, and they chop down PAYYD in a second. Needs to be careful here not to get die back, but meanwhile Sky is in, and Sky is doing a lot of damage.
SF's dropping.
Right at the end. Drops him for now. The SF is going to go down for a really nice bushwhack. It's a 4-for-1 now off the back of that buyback. The first really promising fight from the side of Skiddies, and they take a 3k gold swing from that fight, even with the buyback, and it might not be done yet, as he's chasing down here on Reese. He gets the bushwhack there. Really nice out of the Hoodwink, but will it be enough to allow the Quap to go? The Quap drops off that Q, but they have no way to cancel that TP now, so the Dragon Knight will wander away from that fight with definite signs of life for the side of Skiddy's Angels.
I mean, what a buyback from Reese. He did basically everything in this fight. He is him and Glimpse are like the only catch really, and he caught everyone. So I mean, what a buyback from him. And yeah, nice signs of life on that high ground. We said that their game plan was pretty linear just before this, and they didn't stick to that. They tried to take a big fight. It looked very close to being disastrous, but the heals from Sky, yeah, it was enough to keep him in it.
The heals from Sky and that inching uphill miss just being the difference maker that one fight. And now Seems like they're going to have to slow down for just a moment or two on the side of No Torme. They are building BKB on the Shadow Fiend. They have it finished up for the Dragon Knight. And the Bristleback, he has just about finished up that Crimson Guard now. So the next fight, they're going to go a little bit less susceptible to that burst that they were that fight.
Yeah, Weetorm, for all of his dominance in this tournament, has looked very much like a pub star. He's incredibly dominant, but also incredibly cocky, and he is willing to play in front of the tier 3 tower, just assuming that the enemy won't corral enough troops to drive him out of there. And that's kind of been his only weakness in this, is that has happened, and the games that they've lost, it's been because of that. So he likes to be the win condition and the lose condition.
Indeed, a pub star at heart. Blink Dagger finished up now for the Disruptor. They do have the BKB ready on the DK, but if they do manage to get off that big Static Storm on either the Bristle or the SF, this could prove itself a very easy kill to get, especially because the Gyrocopter, despite his team falling very far behind, is actually keeping up here in terms of farm, closing in on his own BKB himself. He is spotted there on the Bristleback, but the scan comes out, it's on the wrong side of the map, doesn't quite connect. It could be Mr. Crest who's caught out instead, but Faith Kian deciding he doesn't want to quite go that way this time. So the side of No Tormentor split themselves across the map and just start pushing in the waves in advance of that Roche respawn, making them make a decision between defending Roche or defending their towers.
Yeah, this is about as scary as it gets if you are No Tormentor, because you're now in a position where it's proven that you are able to lose team fights, and the second Roche is here, and this is the Roche that you're meant to win the game with. So if you don't get this Roche, this game's gonna last like 48 minutes, and then at that point it's anyone's game. And we already said that Skiddies are able to put out more team fight damage probably at that point of the game. So this is the part where they really need to put their heads together and make sure that they can get this Roche on No Tormentor.
Really cool itemization as well coming out here from the Largo, building into that Shiva's Guard when you're playing into things like that Bristleback, when you're playing into the DK. Getting that Largo Ags plus the Shivas, pretty fucking dirty, to be frank. And when he has it, I actually do think that they do have a way to win these team fights. That one team fight could prove itself quite costly. Faith Gian being the battering ram, walking into the entire team of the side of Skiddies. He's just going to die almost immediately before this fight starts. He's going to try put the Gyro into the cogs, but the Gyro has a BKB now. Macro Power also dropped down by the Jackro, but there goes the big Disruptor. They try pop the entire ulti combo on him, but he takes very little HP in order to do so. Trying to Largo the way out of this one, but the Bristleback feels like quite a nice combo on him, and he's out of mana on the Largo now, which means he's going to get run down. They also kill off Fish and the Gyrocopter. It's a 3-for-1. This Roche suddenly just got a lot easier. The SF is almost caught out. Careful here, Mr. Crest. And look at the damage coming out from Wetorme. That is Jesus. The BKB delivered. He has no cares in the world. Nice TP out there at the end by Reese, but surely this Roche is just free now.
Yeah, it has spawned. It is going to be top. They've got a minute and a half to kill it, which they easily can with this SF damage. Yeah, SF got himself a nice in on this fight, two-shotting the Disruptor, and then after that, Largo sadly ran out of mana. The Shiva's Guard is what they need to win team fights, but it is also meaning that their ability to take long fights is severely diminished, because whereas he would normally have a Kaya, he doesn't have the mana to maintain these fights as much.
Aegis ends up being picked up here by the Shadow Fiend, who picks up a nice cozy double damage rune. And those towers are quaking in their boots. A storm is coming. Big ol' Katrina is on the horizon. Strap down your motorhomes. Call Kanye West. This shit's going down pretty quick if they hit these towers.
Yeah, 100%. They don't have the best poke either on this high ground. With a banner, they're going to really have some issues. I think it's safe to say that they're probably just going to lose one side completely for free with wherever they decide to put this banner.
I would agree, and that being said as well, it's worth remembering the Hoodwink did buy back for that last fight. He doesn't have it for another minute and a half, so if he goes down, we mentioned that's a lot of their catch going to be gone immediately, and yeah, they're not even going to contest it here on the side of Skiddy's Angels. Actually, they are moving in their Hoodwink. You need to be careful here, Reese. You are on your last lives. They pop off the Outer Dragon form now, and up they go. Pori sitting on this high ground, enabling that SF to do all the damage he wants into these towers. That is a first tower down. They drop the Frog Stomp, but the Frog Stomp is on these creeps, which are being completely kept safe by the well-placed Roshan's big old banner. Tries to drop off a call down, and he uses the dust to catch out the Shadow Fiend from a sneaky play. So well done there from Reese. But now the BKB is here, and he's doing so much damage. They're forced to pop the Scream just to be able to escape, and the side of No Tormentor expend no resources to get out of that fight.
They might have a chance here with Glimpse. This is maybe an angle as they try to leave here. Doesn't look like they're interested. So one side, one banner is kind of to be expected. They did burn the SF BKB, so he's a little bit weak for his 2 lives right now. Probably just going to see a reset, take the next Tormentor in contradiction with their name, and wait for the BKB to push the next side.
That is a throwback and a half. It was with you that I explained the existence of the No Tormentor name. We won't get into that this evening, but that is a Tormentor for the side of No Tormentor.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Punjabi who picks it up this time. So the huge double Frost Breath plus Liquid Fire.
Crazy.
Going to make such a big difference in these fights. Not a huge one to pick up, but a nice one to get nonetheless. At least it means that your other heroes are closer towards getting the next shard. It's kind of all it offers you really here. Oh, a good catch out here.
A few heroes here.
Indeed, but he does just BKB and walk away, and he is able to do so. They will be able to chase him down there afterwards, but they're starting to bring heroes en masse, and a nice use there. The Cogs from Faith Kian protects up his DK, but DK now without a BKB for this next fight. This could be a potential opportunity for them. They do still have the Aegis here on the Shadow Fiends. Got another 2 minutes to go. They're making a go now. It looks like onto Corey on the Bristleback, but they've caught Reese at the back of this fight with the Macro Pyro as well as the right clicks. They do throw out that glimpse to keep him alive for now, but in the meantime, Sky dies at the start of this fight as well as Reese. This is an absolute get out moment. He does blink in instead on the clock to try and finish off Punjabi, and Punjabi will end up dying. Attempted TP, and then immediately, maybe not here from the Disruptor. They pop the BKB to stay alive here on Fish. He does have the TP after the BKB, but the right clicks are running down. It's not quite enough, but everything expended and only supports gained for the side of Skiddies. They do lose their Largo, which is so important to their defense. Recognizing that, they jump immediately onto this high ground, glimpse from the Disruptor to at least stop the damage on this pop for a second. But your barracks are under attack. You have the AoE Shadow Strike to clear them somewhat, but the damage this SF is going to be outputting, this is another side at least, right?
At least, yeah. Solar Crest was able to do some bits there, taking out both supports more or less on his own, but Gyro no BKB. Largo's here.
He is back up, and they have the ult here on the SF to try to protect themselves, but instead he actually jumps in here on the Bristleback to attempt to get a second kill onto Sky. He wants to say, let's see who's the best UK Dota offlaner, baby. Does manage to just about get away here on the Frog, and now it's the SF who's in trouble. He does still have the big Aegis to speak of, though, so he doesn't really mind going down here, and they lose their Gyrocopter to take him out. PAYYD going down as well. Hook shot now onto Sky. That Sky death again here on the Largo. They do manage to finish off Faith Kian pretty much as soon as he's back. Buyback now from the Disruptor. They could get a glimpse play here potentially onto the SF, but he stands his ground, so he's going nowhere. And now that looks like it might just be Mega Creeps this time for the side of the good old No Tormentor squad. They do pop their glyph there in a vain attempt to try and rescue this last ranged and melee barracks, but down they go. Mega Creeps going to the side of the No Tormentors. 24k lead now. Things looking very difficult. And Faith Kian dying twice in a row, saying he's very sad about what this is going to do to his imprint rating.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we didn't see them just rip all buybacks and try and salvage a one fight out of this, because their supports do not have anything in ways of means to clear Mega Creeps. Win probability at 99%. I think this is going to be a relatively slow burn death, maybe not so slow burn death, but they're all up. They do have buyback on Gyrocopter, so this is probably going to be their last big fight. See if they're able to work some magic.
and some magic they will need to have. They need the powers of a certain place at Hermione Granger I will not even mention during this fight if they are going to somehow stop this 24k lead no Tormentor side from battering down these towers. The Heart of Tarask just 100 gold away for this Bristleback, being able to stand in front of all of them. Not a care in the world right now from Corey on the Bristle, and with this SF creeping towards 25 soon with the Shadow Rays attack damage or the Feast of Souls 30% cast speed, going to be pretty damn dirty. Right click rains out onto the break, onto this big old gyrocopter. Immediate kill onto the Largo. That is not what you want to see, especially since your Largo does not have buyback. He does not have the money for it. He spent it out. That might just be GG off that alone, as these towers are falling extremely quickly. They did use their glyph for that last fight. They popped the Disruptor OT, but he gets popped pretty quick himself, and Solar Crest going down to finish off this game. GG is called by Reese. Game 1, very decisive manner for the side of no Tormentor. Skiddy's never really looking like they're in that one. And where Torme finishing that game with the Fountain Rampage.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Not all despair for Skiddies, I don't think. The Largo, the impact was definitely felt. You just can't give no Tormentor, probably the best laners in the league, some of the best laning heroes in the league, and they just had 3 cores at the end of this, and Skiddies didn't. So don't go anywhere. We will be back shortly for game 2.
See you soon, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, we are live with game 2 of what I believe will be a best of 3 series in the second round, the playoff round of the Irish Dota League Season 6. Game 1 of this series going very, very, very decisively to the side of No Tormentor of an extremely strong laning phase. Game 2 kicking off now. Let's see if Skiddies have learned their lessons. They banned the Weathermay Shadow Fiend and they banned the Shadow Demon, which Faith Kian has been spamming nearly every game, and his Treant, which is his other spam.
Yeah, the big takeaway here from Skiddies should be that they know that they are able to go toe-to-toe with them in team fight execution and in mid-game map movements, but they cannot go toe-to-toe when they draft themselves losing lanes against the team that lanes better than them. And so I think that should be like their only big takeaway from the last game. Don't let that happen, and you've got yourself a much easier segue.
I think that is definitely the weak point of this No Tormentor stack, and we saw it that game, which is that they can be baited into some pretty bad goes if you play passively enough against them to not be, I don't know, 9k behind at the end of the laning stage. There was definite signs of life for No Tormentor in those mid-game team fights, even before they hit their timing. So I wonder if they're going to pull out the Largo first again here on the side of Skiddies, unless they take it here on Tormentor, but it doesn't feel like a Corey hero necessarily.
No, I don't think so. Corey on a non-strength stun hero sounds unlikely. But the Largo is a tricky decision for them to make, I think. I think No Tormentor are happy playing against it because it doesn't play super well from behind, but we did definitely start to see its strength come into this game, and they just first picked the Jakira this time.
The Punjabi Dragon, the Twink specialist hero being played masterfully by Ireland's favourite Thai Corkman. Going to be pulling off the stop. Some very good ice paths in that last game. Interestingly, choosing still to go for that Twin Terror facet, which a lot of people have been falling out of favour with recently. Going to see what Skiddies pick up here. I think they're going to have to prioritize the Solar Crest mid lane pick a little bit earlier this game, maybe the second phase. And the first pick for Skiddies is the Tusk, which we will likely see in the hands of Reese, I would think.
Possibly. We've seen Paywario ID play it as well. It also does pair super well with the Gyrocopter, with the Drinking Buddies facet. We've seen that a lot. So possibility for that to come out again. This was banned out second phase in the last game, so showing that they do prioritize it, they do want it on their team.
Indeed, and waiting for this next follow-up pick, the next ban from Skiddy's Angels. They're once again targeting down Solar Crest Pool quite a lot, losing out the Earth Spirit and losing the Kodo already.
Yeah, this has been a minor reoccurring theme of it's not super hard to ban out Solar Crest, and he doesn't get to play his hero if he's getting it last. And so like this last pick on Skiddies, I would be pretty astounded if that ends up on Solar Crest. Is this Wind Ranger a hero that he can flex? This is most likely to me a Reese hero. He loves this in pubs.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. I think that points towards exactly what we were saying. PYYD on the Tusk, and most likely going to be a Reese Wind Ranger. Could see Sky picking it up if it's absolutely Giga countered, but it does not feel necessarily like a Solar Crest hero.
Yeah, this is about as nice a support duo as you can get in this patch. It feels like so cozy playing with these two. You can move around as two and have core and have kill threat on a good amount of cores in the game. Their laning is already looking a lot better, so I like what we're starting to see here. Taking out the SF early was also definitely a big deal in that regard.
Although I will say one hero Wind Ranger does really struggle against that's still left in this pool is that Clockwork. It is still available to be picked up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Faith Kian just bang it down again here.
Yeah, I would be really scared of a Weedhorn Werta here with like a clock +5. I could see that doing absolute numbers. Neither of these supports touch on Werta. He's played it in the past. They did lose that game, I believe, but he was, as I said before, he was the win condition in that game and the lose condition. And that is the Corey Slardar. strength hero with a stun.
It is most likely Corey. If we look back at their previous games, they did play it on Tweets one game, so that is a possibility that they have. Talk me through this Slardar matchup into two heroes that you're very, very familiar with, the Tusk and the Windranger.
It will struggle. It can definitely get forced out of lane, which isn't something Slardar wants to happen, but it's a Slardar. At some point, he's just going to get 3 braces, and neither of these heroes are really going to touch him. And I expect to see pretty similar to what we saw last game. He'll have a tough early couple of levels, but eventually that tower will fall, and he'll just put himself up in the face of the enemy, make himself a nuisance, and force people to rotate to him.
Now, Maniac, I've often said that I am Faith Kian's idol, that he looks up to me in all aspects of life, that sometimes he tries to be me, sometimes texts my girlfriend pretending to be me, and we see him do that once again this game. I've never seen Faith Kian play Disruptor. We see a Disruptor pick here. The bald man picking the bald hero. I'm a bald-ish hero. Is he that bald? I suppose just at the front and sides. He's clinging on.
He's got like a mohawk going.
Yeah. Is that hair? I suppose it must be.
Do you think Faith Kian could rock a mohawk?
I have seen him with Jesus hair, if that helps. And he did rock it pretty well. You know, I did like Jesus era Kian. It disappeared after the pandemic, sadly. We now have bald Kian, but the Disruptor pickup is definitely interesting. The Underlord, in response to it, this is, as a Disruptor player, I will tell you straight away, a fucking nightmare of a hero to play into on Distro. He just completely shuts down most of what you try to do in lane. You get immediately hit up with a glimpse. You just drop a pit wherever you land and walk away. It's a pain in the ass. He manages to last hit much better than you can deny. I hate playing into Underlord on Disruptors, so I actually do like this pick quite a lot from Sky.
Yeah, this hero is one that we saw creep into popularity at the end of the Blast Slam tournament. It's kind of exploded onto the scene out of nowhere, but that's also just a by-symptom of what Valve have done by making pro replays unavailable, where people are practicing these things and no one has any idea, and then suddenly you've got absolute specialists popping them out, and in such an aura prioritized patch that we're in at the moment, it's proven really hard to deal with. And the global map presence on the size that this map is, yeah, this hero is a fucking nuisance, I'll tell you that.
I'm sure it's great for the players being able to hide the things they're practicing, but fuck me as a caster. I used to be able to predict every single pick of every draft by doing a little bit of homework, and now I'm just sitting here off vibes and the 3 series they've played, feeling awful. The next pick for Skiddy's Angels. Now, this is one I was not expecting.
Okay, that's
Mr. Crest.
A bit of a spanner in the works. Interesting. I guess they're still keeping it flex. I think we maybe are looking at the Wind Tusk lane as the Wind carry.
5 seconds remaining.
Tusk 5. And then the Reese Nyx Assassin. I think he's level 30 on this hero. He pulled it out against Sentinels to great effect. And I like this. It's a spanner hero, you know. No Tormentor or a well-oiled machine, and Skiddies need to throw spanners in the machine, and that's what they're doing.
The next pickup, though, is this Ursa. Now, Ursa into Underlord, one of the few matchups that's quite good into it. Ursa also extremely good with Disruptor. These two heroes, natural synergy with the glimpse, natural synergy with the kinetic field, even the slows and the vision provided to you by the Thunderstrike. So beneficial to a hero like Ursa, who wants to stay on you, wants to get those clicks off. Quite like what they've done here insofar as they both countered the offlane and picked quite a nice combo. I do agree the Nyx Assassin's super nice here, but you will always have the Slardar able to apply the ultimate onto him if he doesn't pop the ult to enter those fights, which is a little spooky.
Yeah, and if this is a Wind carry, she is pretty much unanswered here as soon as she gets a BKB. Ursa does not really touch this hero as a carry. She doesn't really fuck with Ursa that much either. Slardar, it gets to a certain point where he's just going to crush her and she's just going to run away. So they do need Tweets to pick something up here, or potentially Corey to pick something up here that are going to be able to answer this hero if it is a pos one. But we have also arrived at the age-old problem of it looks like we're last picking Solar Crest.
Yeah, and Solar Crest heroes are banned out in abundance. The only thing left in the pool that I see is the Ember Spirit. That's what I'd probably ban if I'm in this last stage, especially with the kind of matchup that they have. The one thing I'm thinking about as well for Skiddies is that I'm looking, say, for no Tormentor. The Pangolier, they're going to allow through the Ember Spirit. That is interesting. I think we're about to see that immediately locked in from the side of Skiddies. I'm looking at the Tormentor picks that I'm thinking through what Tweets plays. One thing that he does play that could do some damage here potentially is the Tiny. A decent answer into Wind until she gets the BKB at least. Good jump stun. Not necessarily fearful of the Nyx. What do we think of that as a potential pick?
Yeah, the Wind also just cannot kill a Tiny because of the Tiny innate are really good against her. So definitely possible. I think we could also see them just rip the Slardar mid in prediction of it being against an Ember Spirit. But I think the problem with them letting Ember through here is the fact that hero, I mean, it can lose lane, and then he's just going to leave Remnants behind himself and clear waves for 20 minutes, and eventually he will be a problem. It's not this Queen of Pain issue where you can, if you can predict her, you can drive her out. Like, Ember will get something in this game, regardless of what he's against.
Corey Beast in pool, I've just realized. If they do want to put that Slardar mid, they go for the Tiny in the end.
Opt for the Tiny. Still a decent matchup against the Ember, if that is what they decide to go for, and I have to assume that they will. No Tormentor, bled way more reserve time in this one, down to 7 seconds. So I think you can be happy as Skiddies that you've at least taken them out of their comfort zone a little bit, right? Like they looked so flow state with what they got. And they actually offer the Quap again.
I was not expecting that, especially into Disruptor Slardar Tiny. That feels like a pretty terrifying trio of heroes to be facing into as a Queen of Pain. I don't love it, to be honest. I would have much rather seen that Ember Spirit this game.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Quap is playable. She's not going to get stomped out of lane as much. We're not going to see towers fall as fast, although we do still have the Jakiro in the game. But an Ursa carry is not gonna snowball this game out of control in quite the same way. Their lanes do still look really good, but it's how they're going to be able to transition those lanes into objectives. Skiddy's Angels have way better ways of disrupting the map in this one, and all eyes on Nyx Assassin and Fish on this Wind Ranger in this game and what they're going to be able to do.
Fish needs to have a really good game, and Reese is going to be the one who is likely to be able to set it up. But whether it may on this Ursa is going to have a nice lane into this Underlord, so we're going to see what the side of big old Skiddy Angels are able to do. Be nice to see Corey not be sacrificed by this team for once. Give something to my off later. But he has been doing well with that Starved farm, so we're going to wait and see if that is what they choose to do again. A reminder, this is a best of 3 series. It is the first game of the upper bracket so far beyond the best of 1 playoff that we have. The winner of this game will face off against the winner of Wong's Bakery, and whoever wins, I believe, out of the Pegs and Sentinel Island Esports. So likely Wong's Bakery.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we don't pick Alchemist Pulse 4, yeah, I like to think so.
I'm not going to lie to you, Cloud. The second you put on that hat and put on that shit-eating grin, and it ate shit on Alchemist for 30 minutes, it was fucking hilarious.
I had it coming. Coming. I'll be the first to admit.
Pride comes before the fall. Punjabi, potentially, sorry, not Punjabi, good. Oh, it is indeed Punjabi once again. The Jakiro pops that smoke at the start of this fight. Doesn't seem like he sees the other heroes there, but definitely or hopefully recognizes the fact that with one comes another. But an interesting move here from this side of Skiddies. Looks like they're ready to go quite deep onto him, or at least wait in this high ground. Punjabi recognizing that danger there, moving away from this fight. Definitely a stronger level 1, I would say, on the side of the big ol' Skiddy's Angels. So a correct move here from the side of no Tormentor to just avoid this one. You might have a Jackro, but your Jackro is disconnected, and things like an Ursa is not going to do a whole lot level 1 unless you have the lockdown to follow it up. And when you're facing into Quap and facing into Firestorm and Tag Team and the Shackle coming up of Windy, this is just not a level 1 fight you want to take. And instead, they choose to just go for this nice little bounty rune exchange. It is a 2 for 2, and we shall get these lanes off and running.
Yeah, it's worth noting, I think, that both of these teams are not nearly as volatile in terms of vibes as some of the other teams in the league. I think it's pretty unlikely to me that Skiddies are going to be super put off by this loss. I think they're still going to come back swinging into this game. I think both teams generally are like pretty positive PMA players.
Not volatile and lots of tournament experience on a lot of these players as well. You know, like Solar Crest played in the Australian leagues for years, and then now has been playing in a lot of other leagues as well. There's very few teams who play many tournaments and still remain volatile. Thoughts, comments, Bob? Looking into this bot lane.
Passionate.
Passionate. Oh, of course. Top lane.
Passion.
Reese in some trouble here, getting clicked down quite heavily by this Disruptor. Needs to be careful on the Nyx. I mean, you do have the dual melee into Disro, which is never a bad position to be in as a Disruptor, not gonna lie.
Yeah, Nyx finds himself in a bit of an interesting state in this one. Typically, you would just want to be dragging these waves. He has the boots. That's you want to assume that's what he wants to do, but he is with an Underlord who can just clear these waves pretty immediately. So kind of a decision to make there from him.
Careful here on your Underlord, you might just go down here. Nice stun there from Reese, but it's not enough to keep him alive. With Tormentor getting the first kill, and the second kill is on its way as Faith Kian walks towards them. He has a glimpse ready, but not enough space to get it off, but he will have the Thunder Strike. Will that be enough? He pops the Mango, he stops the Courier, kills one of his boots, but is likely going to die as a consequence of this. Will he get the deny off here? It looks like he can't, as Faith Kian picks up that kill on the Disruptor. They do kill the Ursa's boots, but they lose a lot in order to do so.
Yeah, bit of miscommunication there, I think. It's not Sky's job to be fetching the wave on his own when he has this Nyx Assassin with boots on his lane. Small go out here.
Yeah, attempted go here with the shards, but the shards don't quite latch enough. Still a lot of damage with that Drinking Buddies being put out onto both of these heroes, or the tag team, I should say. But not enough to be able to finish off either of these kills. And this does feel like a lane where the more levels that the Jackro gets, the more they can kind of do a bit of rebuttal in this bottom lane. But as it stands, it should be favored towards the Windy and the Tusk.
Yeah, nice to see them have a lane that they that they can win. And
indeed, and win they are.
There they go.
Down goes Corey. And it looks like Punjabi's also some trouble here. The right click's raining down onto this Jackro. Will they dive it? They choose not to here. They go for the power shot level, but it's not enough to finish him off, and he doesn't have that facet. He's gone for Tangled, so he isn't executed there on the Jackro. To be fair, if he didn't go for Tangled on a pause 1, I would be reporting him anyway. So a good choice.
Yeah, they don't typically choose to take this point in the power shot. I think he must have just taken it just then, just for that kill, which he wasn't quite able to get, but it's not the worst spell to have a quality of life point in. Mid lane, also worth noting, a much more comfortable start. Not the happiest bunny in the world, but I mean, like, completely fine, completely even realistically.
Melee into Quap is never the easiest position, regardless of the difference in terms of the player's mid-laning experience. I mean, Solarcrest still an extremely experienced player, showing himself multiple times this season to be a linchpin of this team. Go now potentially here onto this offlane, but very little they can do into the response of that Breathe Fire. Jackro now getting the levels he needs. Attempt to go again onto this Underlord. He has the glimpse ready on Faith Kian. He pops it, but their damage isn't there with the wave crashing in. So it's just used to get off a bit of harassment here, and suddenly a stabilized top lane and a better position for this Underlord. Lanes all in all looking much better. Hang on, Sky stands around here, goes to the Firestorm. The stun is there from Reese, but he can't get it off. Ring around the Rosies around that Firestorm, creates a roundabout. Can he finish off this big Underlord? He glimpses him straight into the path of this Ursa, doing all the damage he can here on Reese to keep himself alive, but Sky goes down again, and now he's going to turn tail and run on the Ursa. Ursa is going to go down to Reese in the end, but he quick buys his use of those boots right before he does so, and Faith Kian with the electromagnetic repulsion is able to push back that big old Nyx right before he also falls prey to the Scorpion.
Yeah, you have to be content with that. Underlord's not in the happiest place ever, but he's a hero that can recover a lot easier than the Largo can in the last game. He'll just start Firestorm maxing in a little while, and he'll be alright.
Back to this mid lane, we're seeing it go much better now for this Quap. As the Quap gains levels in that queue, this lane becomes harder and harder for the Tiny to withstand. He does have that burst damage, and there hasn't been any rotations from supports, which I think they probably needed if they're going to get the same kind of lane they last. Go potential in this bottom lane, but so much damage put out there by Corey means that instead it's PAYYD that goes down. Paid, meaning unpaid, going down, paying off the enemy offlaners, giving them a bit of a lead in this offlane, which they definitely needed. Clicking back towards this safe lane, we're looking at this Ursa Disruptor. Seems like everyone's pretty cozy on HP as of now, but very volatile night. Level 5 on the Ursa with only level 3 on this Underlord at present.
Yeah, a little bit goofy, I think, how they decided to play this lane, but we've got a gank now onto Tweets.
Yeah, nice use there of the Avalanche. Stops that gank in its stead. They also don't have mana on Quap as of now. No bottle charges, no wand charges. Can't use Scream. They do manage
God,
to
he didn't pick
back,
it up.
but he didn't pick it up. So it does go to the Nyx instead, but you're probably still fine with this. You are going to bleed out your Disruptor off the back of that. Unfortunate from Faith Kian, but honestly, nothing much lost there.
No, they drop a support each. These deaths do hurt a lot for Tusk before boots and just early levels. They need to make sure that they do get at least one Wisdom Rune. Otherwise, Tusk is going to be a bit of a creep for a little while in this one. On the flip side of that, it's really nice for Nyx Assassin that he's able to get himself some bits and bobs across the map. He's got himself 2 kills. Any kind of forward momentum you can get yourself on this hero just makes your timing that much sooner, and you can start to become the menace that this hero is.
Yeah, and when that Nyx does get 6, cots and hats and socks, doing some Dr. Seuss stuff here, he starts looking pretty damn scary. There's a lot of good targets for a Nyx Assassin to go in this game. You've got a Jakiro, you've got that Disruptor. Very easy prey for a +1 kill, but a hero we haven't talked too much about is this Slardar. He is on similar pace to this Underlord, with the exception that he hasn't died quite as much as Sky has thus far. So once again, not the easiest start to the lane for Corey. 0-1-1. It'll be interesting to see how he plays out of this one. He is just trying to finish off his wand and boots as for now, but we're going to see how he transitions. Back to this mid lane. A lot of pressure being put out here onto the Quap, but they do have the Nyx Assassin here just to show his face. He gives a wave to good old Mr. Mid Laner, Mr. Good old Tweets, but walks away from it. Tries to TP actually directly in front of Tiny, so he's going to be cancelled, I imagine, almost straight away, but doesn't have the mana to do so, and Corey goes down to fish.
Okay, interesting. Underlord also TP'd out top at the same time, so there's some goofy stuff going on.
Goofy?
On the map.
Goofy?
Solar Crest.
Goofy? Goofy? Oh, wait.
Okay.
He smoked away. He's fine.
Jester maxing. Tweets on his way now. Faithkian probably going to get a glimpse off here, actually.
Yeah, he has range now onto the Nyx. He's just about in range to get it, and Kian doesn't instead. He's going for the greedy kill. He wants the Quap, and he gets neither.
All right. Both teams kind of flailing their arms at each other a little bit here.
Jester maxing out of control. Somebody call the ASU frat leader. We need this game sorted out ASAP. I think
Shackle.
Corey would probably be the closest to ASU frat leader in this game. You know, he's got that kind of aura about him. Most certainly. Nice stun coming out there from Punjabi, actually, with a follow-up as well of that glimpse. That's probably death on Fish here. And Sky goes down to Weathermay solo. They try to rotate in the Nyx and the Quap, though. Weathermay could be in some trouble here. They do lose Corey for that go. And the tower is being a nuisance. They pop the TP with the miss stun from the Nyx. They are able to get out at least there from where Tormentor. He pops the poor defense. That dive from Scott, from Corey there, very good. Does get the kill, but dies in order to do so. Still kind of worth it, right, Moth?
Yeah, he's not too upset about these moves at all. And this is, I think, from what we're starting to see, a bit of Corey's bread and butter is just, if it's at first you don't succeed, just try again. He just smashes his head against the lane until the tower dies or until he dies, or both.
Speaking of death, Punjabi singing the songs to his people as he goes down here in this bottom lane, dying almost immediately. And now follow-up as well. They do have Tusk nearby. It doesn't seem like Faith Kian's going to go down here, and indeed he's not. He does manage to escape that one. But top lane, the Ursa trying to make a go onto the Queen of Pain. The Quap forced to blink away immediately after trying to make this rotation. So Quap continuously trying to rotate onto the Ursa, continuously unsuccessfully. And now we see the difference off the back of those unsuccessful rotations. The Tiny is up to 64 and 6 in terms of last hits. The Quap at 48 and 7. They really need to make this go work if they're going to get something out of it. But instead, it looks like their Nyx Assassin is in trouble. Hit up with that Breed Fire. The toss out from the Tiny forces out the Carapace early. And now Reese is going to go down. You give so many heroes for so much time to this top lane, and you get nothing out of it from Skiddies.
Yeah, it's this has been Tweets 101 really in a lot of the series, where it's not like he's, you know, massively out mechanically playing the person that he's laning against. He's just not leaving his lane. he just stays there, he chills, he gets the farm, he gets the items, while whoever he's laning against is running around trying to make things happen on the map. He's comfortable in the knowledge that he'll make what he needs to make happen later on when he's hit half a dozen timings.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and it's almost a logical extension of what you were saying earlier about how the side of No Tormentor are such a good laning team that it just makes sense they're in their plays like this. But a really nice gate comes out here from this big ol' Underlord. Surely he dies here. There's nothing he can do to survive this one. He's being team tagged by all these 4 heroes. So much damage. Team tagged. What's wrong with me? Down he goes on the Ursa.
Yeah, WeTorm doing what WeTorm does best and farming in front of the enemy tower.
Mode Ego kicks off, and he does go down, but he does quick buy before that death, so he is actually still only 400 gold off that Battle Fury.
Yeah, no, he's cruising. He's once again found himself in a pretty comfortable laning experience, and you know, Fish has by no means had a bad time, but he's still over 1,000 gold behind him.
Corey, meanwhile, is somewhat struggling to commit this one. Only 3.4 net worth. Ooh, bye-bye, Sky. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Reese. Bye-bye, bye-bye. Down goes Sky, and Reese clinging on for life on the Scorpion. Might manage to steal this one, but that'll be about it. Faith Kian says, nope, that is my fruit. Pass it over. Nice quick kill on this top lane, 2 for 0. Seems like they might try and make a counterplay onto the Slardar here. He is aggressively farming. The snowball does come out, but he is fishing away. It does catch, actually, right at the end of it. And meanwhile, they do have the focus fire with the tag team, and that's enough damage to kill off Corey. So a really important kill for them to pick up here. More damage going into Fish, but now in comes the Tiny with the toss. Tosses them too far away to get the avalanche off, but ooh, a really nice avalanche right at the tip of it there.
They're splitting targets.
The targets is just not there in time, and now they will definitely still lose this toss. Tries to go for the shard play. Moth, you would have gotten that every time, right?
No, I don't even try it. It's too embarrassing.
And PAYYG suffers humiliation on his way to the grave, and in the meantime, the Ursa does finish off that Battle Fury. Glimpse potential here on to Reese. There is the follow-up of the Avalanche. Can he get off the toss? Oh, what a play. Putting down the target for him to gate onto.
The Intimidation Gate, nice. Good to
Absolutely
keep Reese alive. He just needs this creep for 6, and then all eyes on him. We get to start seeing what he's able to make happen on the map. Interesting to see he's still going for the Dagon. This hero not super commonly picked up, but I'll be curious to see where he goes.
Seems like he's going to walk straight into this triangle. Now, the nice thing about the Nyx is that it does give this Queen of Pain something that it can rotate with, but there are no heroes to speak of to be able to join this go quite yet. But Solarcrest now moving up towards this triangle. Does he drop a ward on time on Punjabi? They are being delivered
There's
still.
a Wisdom in 10.
Wisdom in 10. Seems like there's going to be a bit of an attempted fight around it. Maybe not in time. 5 seconds. Let's get here quite quickly. In the meantime, they've caught out Fish on the Windy.
Yeah, they were starting to move the numbers in around the right timing, but Fish just caught off a little bit by the tiny blink.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, an attempt to go into Faith Kian here. Not much he can do. Drops the Puddle of Doom, but like, what can you do? But oh my god, hang on, never mind.
Jesus.
Tweets is here and he 100-0 Sky in a single combo.
Yeah, they're starting to get some much needed damage on the tower at least. Last game they didn't get their first tower until I think, past the 20-minute mark. So this is at least a bit of an improvement on that one.
Definitely improvement on the previous laning stage, but still in favor of the No Tormentor boys. Up 2k now at 14 minutes. They do claim their own wisdom, at least. Wetrame not choosing to make that deep play when he saw those 4 heroes top. Could have potentially done so, but would have been a little bit risky. So Reese does pick that up on the Nyx. A very important one to pick up when your support combo is the Tusk and the Nyx. As you mentioned, Tusk loving those early levels. I'm moving in towards that Blink Dagger. Do we think this Blink changes these fights significantly?
Not drastically, but it does give them the a bit of burst on top of the Nyx. Nyx can find someone, you can blink to it, and you can probably output about 1,000 damage together. So you've got that bit of added bonus for you.
Nice attempted save there on the Ursa, dropping his own Sentry Ward to spot out the Nyx right before it hits him, but it's a little too late as the heroes cannot rotate in time to try and protect him. So that's Wetrame going down again on this Ursa. His blink delayed. He was right about to get it. And now instead, they are going to be able to get this bottom tower in exchange. Maybe not as they get off this glyph, but this mid tower also being pressured in. Sky likely to be able to take it into this next wave, or should I say the combination of Reese and Solar Crest likely to take it out very, very soon. The Tiny is here though, and we haven't seen the damage he can do. This Reese Nyx Assassin being such a thorn in the side, but he does spot him this time on the Sentry. So this is not the easy go that they think it is, and he pops the Haste Rune just in case he decides to get a little bit saucy with it there on the Nyx.
Yeah, the Tusk also hanging about. Looks like he's just going to abandon the tower. Already at 16 minutes, looking a lot more comfortable than they did in the last one on the side of Skiddies. They're managing to force trades on the map instead of just clutching at the leftovers. In a bit, Reese.
Down goes Reese. Tweets able to pick him out pretty damn quickly on this Tiny. He is very close to finishing off that Phylactery as well now, so the amount of damage he's outputting is about to be increased significantly, as well as the importance of that slow, enabling his team to get there on time for these potential goes. The mid tower are going to be turned to Swiss cheese under the pressure of this Jackro, as well as this Tiny, just pumping out those liquid fires, with the Slardar waiting at the side with the completed Blink Dagger, has the reveal ready to go. He does want to kill Reese. We know this well. They are old friends, but old combatants also. Tweets taking out that mid tower, and with that, cruising towards that Void Stone to finish up the Phylactery in just another 30 gold.
Yeah, so tower situation even. Kill situation, network situation also not too bad. Ursa is really the sole cause of this 3k net worth lead.
Looks like a bit of trouble here for Corey. Just immediately picked. They even popped the Sky Gate so that he could be in the photograph when the kill is secured. But now the Tiny is here, and they immediately go out onto this big old Solar Crest. Little Tiny Quap, and down he goes, and it's not done yet as Faith Kian is here with the Glimpse and the Static Storm. Tries to force this Underlord away from the rest of his team. Good kiting there to be able to finish off that guy, and they're not done yet. Wetrame, Ego Player, waiting out the end of that Carapace to get an additional kill onto Reese. It's a 3-for-1 so far, and they're not quite done yet. Faith Kian here trying to get off a Glimpse potentially if they get away on this Tusk. He's ready and waiting, and is probably going to pop it right at this moment if it's not already dead here, which indeed it looks like he is. Static Storm, Kinetic Field, all he's going to need to be able to finish him off. They do TP in on Quap to finish off Punjabi potentially, but chooses not to chase unless there is a Disruptor waiting in the wings, I would imagine.
Yeah, like I say, this Ursa being the big outlier here, really. It's not like Wind and Quap are particularly poor. It's just that Ursa is so rich, and yeah, they've managed to make him falter in his tracks a couple of times, but never really slow him down that much.
Kian is looking potentially dead here with that bug up his butt, and the Tiny also there. Oh, but the electromagnetic repulsion makes Reese miss his stun. They are still going to die here. on Faith Kian. I mean, it's a temporary reprieve, if nothing else. Punjabi on very low HP. Blink in now from Tweets. Attempted go. Nice follow-up with the Ice Path coming out from the Jack Bro means they are going to lose their Tusk. But the
They brought Fish.
Star is on him. They brought Fish this time. He TP's out with the use that Enrage.
Nope.
He does end up not being able to do so as the pit gets dropped off by Sky. This could be why Torme going down here, and indeed it will as they pop the Scream. Solar Crest getting that kill. A very, very good team fight for the side of Skiddy's Angels, picking up that 3-for-1.
I mean, he's just the... Tom is just the perfect like viewer experience enhancer. He really is. Because just when a game feels like it's going to be boring, he just knows how to bring it back.
And bring it back he does. A critical team fight, an important one right next to the Tormentor as well. And the Tormentor does go towards the Tusk. It is the Deep Shards. Mr. Tusk Esport, this good?
It's huge. Like I actually would have bought it instead of the Blink in this one. He gets it at the exact same timing as the Blink with the Tormentor take. He's honestly so strong. He has the max shards for it as well. He can solo kill Disruptor easily with this, and probably Jakiro as well. He's yeah, just gone from being a creep to a hero.
Potential go out here onto the Nyx Assassin. He is spotted up, but recognizing that, attempts to use the Ice Path, but Corey is there, ready to chop down Reese. So a nice free kill there for Tweets, and actually quite a lot of gold going for Reese now. Does bring that Tiny in towards his next item. He is building into the points booster, which he's going to pick up in about 100 gold. What do you think he's going to be building that into, Mr. Maniac?
Good question.
Is it an Axe?
Is it it's almost certainly not an Axe. Does the Kanda build out of this at the moment? It does, right? He might just be going for the Kanda straight off the bat. Yeah, he does. He's completed it now.
That is quite a lot of damage to have on your Tiny to have a Kanda already. You need to be very careful when playing into this guy now. Can 100-0 either of these supports pretty much instantaneously. And while we're discussing that, it is Ursa on a team very far ahead. It is Ursa taking Roche.
Yep. They do have that going for them. Taking towers is going to be another entirely different story. That's a lot more on Jakiro and Tiny to kind of make slowly happen off of the back of wave pressure. Not really going to be Ursa's job. So I don't think this is going to be one that we're going to see ending for either team at 35 minutes like the last one did.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a lot closer context. And considering that last game was so tough, hang on, tempted to go here. Sky does go down. Weather May just able to kill him so quickly that we barely even notice on the screen at this point.
Yeah, they Skiddy's MO in this one is like hunting someone down with Nyx, and then Disruptor's able to connect. Tusk can come in with his Blink Dagger, and in the blink of an eye, they can have 3 or 4 heroes on top of one hero. So No Tormentor done a good job in the past couple of minutes of kind of splitting it across the map a bit better and making sure that Underlord's not alive to make this happen.
Indeed, and being nice to be able to do so, but now that group up is likely to come around this Aegis, and down it comes. It could be Mr. Solar Crest who's caught out with that freshly minted Kanda. The damage too much with the follow-up crush coming out from that Slardor. Once again, the Solar Quap finding it difficult to find a way into this game.
Yeah, they're hemorrhaging kills right now to the pretty unreal burst that is Slardar, Tiny, Ursa. And it's way easier said than done to stop that bleeding as well against a Disruptor.
Being said, we gotta say, we said it during the draft, it's a difficult game to play a Quap in when you have that triple jump combo, right? It feels like at any moment your blink might not matter because they just have the lockdown and the burst to make it entirely ineffectual, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to say that Ember does probably end in a similar fashion, but you know, you've just seen how the Quap goes. I feel like even just from a mental standpoint, it's got to feel better to mix it up, especially after they let it through. But he wanted some redemption on the Quap, and he has had a better game this one than last, but it's starting to look really tricky.
Speaking of redemption, he has now finished up that Kaya and the Aghanim Scepter, and as soon as he finishes it, he does pick up an Amplified Damage rune, so this could be the potential go. Faithkian has already used Glimpse, unfortunately, used it to start this fight, so now very little he can do. Does pop the Dust and the Tumbler's Toy. Great use there of the Ice Path coming out from the Jackrow to stop the go onto that Tiny, and they're more than happy with this one because now they're all lined up in a row. 10-pin bowling time for Corey and this Tiny. Sky dies immediately, Reese dies immediately, Static Storm dropped onto the head of this Quap. It's a 3-for-1. Punjabi with the heroics, and the follow-up from the Tiny is enough to secure now a 6k net worth lead off the back of that triple kill.
Yeah, beautiful Ice Path. I mean, it was a 6k net worth last game at 10 minutes. Not that anyone's counting, but it is starting to look like it's spiraling a little bit. Think they're struggling to find Fish's way into this game. He's not been able to fight in any of the last team fights.
And now he's in some trouble with the follow-up of this Ursa on top of him, and the Kanda damage again, enough to burst him, and they don't even finish off the Slardar, who's on about 10 HP. Ticking down, might tick down to the pop spells here.
Fuck it.
Seems like he will. Reese takes the free kill on Faith Kian instead, and now he is in some trouble. Hit up with the slow of the Earth Spike, follow up with here is the Tiny. Corey's been playing this fight on about 10 HP. This just feels illegal, and he gets out again. So potential go here from Solar Crest. Immediate TP'd up from the Tiny, recognizing the lack of lockdown, and they gain nothing for that. It is a 3-for-1 once again. Only Faith Kian going down. Not helping his imprint score, but definitely helping his team in terms of where he's positioning himself.
Yeah, Windranger. Oh god, please stop. Windranger not having the like, she's meant to be the antidote in this game. I think she's like fairly unanswered. She can kill any hero on the enemy team with just a little bit of help, but it's been a bit of a quiet game from Fish in this one. He's 2/3 of the way towards the BKB, and he is smoked up.
Gonna make a play here potentially onto Corey. They catch him out with that big old Tusk Polar Punch. He gets off the stun there afterwards, but the latch does come out off the back of that one, so it's gonna be a pretty free kill that they get onto the big Slardar. But in comes the Static Storm, and it's again onto the Quap. They have the follow-up damage. They have just the 2 supports going onto her, so she might live, but the Ice Path is really nice onto her. Just wrong target prioritization there.
Yeah, dude, he's gonna go down on Weetom as well.
Indeed, Tweets does get a kill, but Weetorm just going for the wrong heroes during that. The Quap was free, and
yeah, the communication was so bad there, actually. They catch Quap alone. The supports don't have the damage for Quap. Quap kills the supports after the Static Storm. Ursa doesn't have the damage to kill the 3 heroes that he decided to go on instead. And like I said, man, just when we thought the game was going to be boring, Weetorm knows how to bring it back.
indeed he does. The viewer's favorite. Attempted go here from the Tiny. You do not have the damage to do this, buddy, and now you are in Shit Creek, a face famous for not having any paddles. He does pop the BKB. He starts paddling with his hand. He's licking the ocean very quickly, and the master of the ocean himself, Slardar, comes in to bail out his friend. He's kicking his legs behind his boat, attempting to save him from this one. And like a runner, not only saves him, but gets 2 kills in doing so. So a nice rebuttal there from the side of No Tormy.
Yeah, a rare instance of being up Shit's Creek with a paddle.
I know, like, when did they start selling those? That's crazy. They're famous for having none.
Yeah, it was a gap in the market.
I suppose. Unique selling point, baby. And it works out really well for them here. They do manage to finish up the Fish BKB in the meantime, though, which is going to be problematic in these next couple of team fights. This Windranger is starting to put himself in a position where he will be able to do something of note in this next couple ones. But looking at the levels is the thing I'm kind of scared of. You're level 21 in your time, level 20 on your Ursa. Getting these level 20 talents is going to be really important. That Fury swipes damage on the Ursa, not massive, but the tiny one with the toss requiring no target is a really nice one to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, Tweets. To be honest, I feel like Tweets is a bit of the like unsung hero of this team. He's less flashy, but he's so reliable.
Indeed, he is. And now the Ice Pack from Jabby. Speaking of the guy who never gets it wrong, but now Castle Curse immediately, and Faith Kian and Punjabi likely to go down as well. But oh, Weathermay is here. Pops down Reese and saves Faith Kian. They throw out a lot of spells onto him, but he just BKBs and walks away. But that means no BKB for this next fight either. right as Roche is potentially
Fade
back
is
in
it?
10 seconds, and Faith Kian gets stopped down by this Tosk, taking out Faith Kian on the distro, and Roche has the ability to respawn very soon.
Yeah, it's been pretty scrappy, and everything is just like all semblance of Dota. I feel like has kind of gone out of the window. They're just playing ARAM. They're like actually just mashing faces in the mid lane. The Roche isn't up. There's not a Tormentor up, so they're like, ah, fuck it. There's nothing else to do.
Roche guaranteed to respawn in just 1 second, and up it is now. So if they take a Roche right now, they could potentially get it. It's not a good Roche taking team, though, at all, with only really the Windy able to do so.
Yeah, Wind Ranger and Tusk are like pretty happy doing it together, but yeah, they need a few heroes dead on the enemy team, otherwise it's a decently easy contest, and he would have to commit the focus fire for it, so there's no chance of a fight after that either. But
Worth
that
noting
is
as well,
probably where we're going to see the next fight, since Weetom's done that.
Weetorm takes that Tormentor. It is a nice one. That Thunder Strike on the Disruptor, very important for getting vision when you are trying to take that Roche fight. The ground targeted Thunder Strike into the Roche pit. Very, very saucy indeed. Tempted Smoke now comes off the back of that one. They jump immediately. It's onto PYYD, but he gets off the Snowball for a temporary reprieve. But BKB finished up by this Slardar. The Focus Fire is being used, and it's being used onto the Slardar. He's going to go down, but Weathermay now does not fear a Focus Fire thereafter. So that he's going to start doing some serious damage. Great Static Storm and Glimpse by Faith Kian. Absolutely mugs this fight, Moth, and now that is a very free Roche. Really good plays there by the Disruptor. He learns from the best, bro. What can I say? Learns from the best.
Yeah, his idol would have done this as well. Yeah, they got the Tusk immediately at the start of the fight, and Quap was just not present for it either. They had the numbers, they had the presence sooner in this one.
Yeah, the Quap being there is a bit of a weird one, not gonna lie. I mean, the difference that burst could have made, even if the Quap had been focused on the distro and stopped him from getting off his combo, it would have been really huge for that fight. I'm somewhat curious to hear, Solar Crest definitely a macro-oriented player. I'm interested to hear his take on why he wouldn't show up to a fight like that.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. He might have TP'd out at the start of it. I didn't see, but yeah, a weird one. Maybe they just didn't expect the numbers to be like that quick on the ball with the Roche right after taking the Tormentor top. It was very quick. All in all, they're just gonna have to kite the Ursa for a bit. Is the takeaway from that. Reese gonna go down again here.
Yeah, that is a dead Scorpion. A big item pickup I want to mention there, Maniac, off the back of that last fight. They do finish off the MKB on Ursa. So with that MKB finished up now and that Basher, he will always have a way of killing the Windrunner potentially.
Yeah, and she does have the Axe queued. That's kind of her solution to this, but she's a long way off that. She's getting the Daedalus first, and then she's going to need a few minutes after that as well to get the Axe. So they need to cling on for a little bit here, and Weetorm is already raring to go.
Indeed he is. This man does not stop. The caster special. Nice glimpse there from Faith Kian, but blocked out by the Snowball, at least for now. The kinetic field does not quite connect there. He goes, oh, Moth, you're so right. It is so embarrassing when it doesn't work. It's painful. It's painful. Oh, the Punjabi, equally so, not landing that Ice Path, maybe giving him a little bit temporary reprieve, but POID does end up still going down on this Tusk, so it is a 1-for-0, and it's going to be a bot tower, and now they might start looking at sieging this base, potentially.
Yeah, Tusk dodged the foolish Disruptor glimpse, trying to glimpse him into all 5 of his team by snowballing into all 5 of his team.
It's like, the ancient art of seppuku. I will never let my enemies kill me. I will instead fall on my own sword and die by my own volition.
Yeah,
courageous
he
in
died
battle.
in his terms.
I hear there's some people who fear the samurai. Do you know what those are? Anyway, let's get back into this one. The Tiny attempting to make a go into this top lane. The Little Mix attempting potentially to snipe out the Slardar here, who is quite far pressed, but he has a Tiny with him. There is a use of a stun. We didn't even see him go into that fight. That's how crazy that jump was there from where Torme attempted to kill Faith Kian. is going to kill off Reese instead, but the follow-up sneeze from the Quap does mean that at least they kill off Faith Yan, so it is a 1-for-1 trade, but the tower are going to fall immediately there afterwards, and almost an immediate burst down of the Wind Ranger at the start of this fight. She is forced out there very quickly, but very calmly and coolly. Fish doesn't press the BKB that time.
Yeah, he has the Daedalus now on Wind. Well, if he chooses to buy out for it. Essentially, if they don't bleed kills, no Tormentor cannot high ground. They don't have the damage for it. They don't really have the poke for it. And in this game, different to last game, Skiddies do have the anti-push to stop those goes from happening. So despite the Aegis, this is strictly a kill Aegis, and as long as they can protect each other, it's not really any threat of high ground.
Doesn't seem like it, but Sky could be in some trouble here. Reese is with him, though. He is hit up with that Pit of Malice, but the Nyx not emboldened to go for this kill quite yet.
Yeah, not the hero they want right now.
What an ambitious courier. Ambitious. Nothing. He was sending it out, but it was out into 4 heroes almost immediately. So ambitious, unfortunately, there from the good old Underlord. Gotta say, it's been a quiet enough one for the Underlord, but he has built into some pretty good items for himself. He's finished up that pipe. He's finished up the Guardian Greaves. He's now going into that Ags for the extra radius of Pit of Malice. This is a nightmare for Ursa in that late game.
Yeah, he's in a similar spot to where he was last game, but his job is, I think, a lot simpler, which will maybe work to their advantage. He wasn't really able to do, I think, what you'd really want an Underlord to be able to do in this game, but that's just the nature of picking Underlord while Ursa's still in the pool, as he's wreaked havoc on this map.
Indeed he has. Some heroes rotating towards this top lane. Punjabi is entirely isolated. If the Wind Ranger catches him here, yeah, that is a dead little twink on this top lane. Goes to the ice path to keep himself alive temporarily. But hang on. Oh, and never mind. Where Torme is somehow here. And he chops down Fish after the BKB. Disastrous. And it looks like Sky is going to follow him into the grave because they have the Basher on the Ursa. And they're not done yet. They're chasing down Mr. Crest. He's popped his BKB, forcing Core away temporarily. Buyback now from Sky. Things going from bad to worse. Key and Faith Yan also using the buyback here on the Disruptor. Doesn't feel like he's going to get in time for a big glimpse here. Does he have the blink finish up? No, he doesn't. So very little he can do a Disruptor to change this fight. But you get a Sky buyback in exchange for Faith Yan, and you lose Fish. This is looking like the chance they have potentially to take this high ground.
Yeah, no Fish. And Sky has to be really careful how he plays this. He used his ult pretty far back after the buyback, so they weren't really able to get anything. I do think their tower hit is probably too weak, but he does have an Abyssal Blade reveal here. He's going to try and use it to bring down Quap.
It's onto Quap, and there's the Static Storm to follow it, and they have the Roshan's banner to keep the wave alive from that last Rosh, so they're able to start pressuring in towards this top tower. Things going from bad to worse for the side of Skiddy as they're now 19k down, and the tower being pressured down by these liquid fires. 1 or 2 right clicks is all it's going to take from this Tusk to finish it off. He does walk away just in time, but things looking pretty damn dire for the Radiant. Jump in from the Ursa, attempted go here, does get himself out of there with the Force Staff and Pit Kian. There is a snowball onto his own creeps to protect PAYYD, pressuring all they can to take down this tower, but it's a bit of trouble here for the Tusk, and the toss is used by the Tiny there to secure that tier 3. In the meantime, it is a kill for the Ursa who jumps in. Corey potentially in some trouble here though, and that might stem them in this instance. Stop the bleeding, at least for now. Faith Kian, Osping ran down. It's worth noting he did use his buyback, but too far forward from PYD. That is a dieback on your Tusk. And Glimpse still ready. They do spot Reese, but Faith Kian choosing instead to leash the dog and not take him out quite yet. And now you're defending without a Tusk and with your Underlord on buyback
too.
They did get the glimpse. The follow-up isn't quite there. Weathermay, ballsy, but not quite that ballsy. 26k on this Ursa right now. He has finished up the Abyssal, and now he's moving in towards that Swift Blink.
Yeah, I mean, Corey probably putting an end to the push attempts here by saying, look, Tom, I can blink high ground too. but yeah, it's not looking easy. They're holding, but they're bleeding intensely while they do it. It's it's not pretty. Underlord managed to just about make it back to where he was before the buyback, towards that Aghanim Scepter. And from there, they need to find a way to kite these 3 BKBs so that they can start wreaking havoc.
I think looking at them right now, their biggest issue is just that so much of their damage is Fish reliant, with Fish being picked quite early in a lot of these team fights. And meanwhile, Reese, a little bit too ballsy there on this Nyx assassin, breaks the smoke but dies to do so. Does not have buyback. He bought out for a Dagon upgrade to get the 5.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's 50 seconds without Nyx. They're smoked again on 4. If they can get one more kill, they can probably happily high ground, but the Nyx alone being dead, probably not going to cut it. Roche is going to spawn in 2 minutes. Probably just going to see them waiting for that.
Seems like it. They are pressuring waves on all 3 sides, slowly choking out the side of Skiddy's Angels. 22k net worth. Now jump in from Corey.
There he goes again.
Trouble here. He has the force at Bitcan. Oh my god, they have a Ursa with a MKB on top, and it takes down Solar Crest immediately there afterwards. This is looking like panic stations. You do have buyback on the Wind Ranger. You do not on the Quap. She bought out. She has a buyback off cooldown, but doesn't have the money for it, Maniac. And now another jump in. Oh, he tosses him away. He misses the toss target. Unfortunate there from the Tiny, but a nice use there of the macro power, stopping the supports, and a jump in thereafter from Corey with an attempted go. A lot of damage on this Tiny, mostly from the tower. But he gets Glimmer caped out by Faith Kian. Really nice play there from the support, and the follow-up damage as well is there. And oh, that's Fish's buyback.
That's buyback. They just don't have the damage.
GG is called. It seems like the side of no Tormentor, after 2 very decisive games, will be progressing further into this Div 1 upper bracket, where they will face the winner of Wongs and whoever their opposition will be, based on the game between the sides of the Pegs and the Sentinels. Looking at that game, Maniac, how are we feeling about this no Tormentor team?
I don't think they've shown anything drastically different to what we knew before. They were definitely the favorites going into this matchup. I think the weaknesses that they showed were a little bit similar to what they showed in the past, but their laning was just too strong for Skiddies in this instance to do anything about. So I'm looking forward to playing against them again for sure. They're definitely a super competitive team.
Most certainly. A really nice set of games there. Skiddy's Angels not out of the tournament. They will face the loser of the game between the Pegs and Sentinels in the losers bracket round 1. Folks, if you enjoyed that one, 2 quick notes for you. If it is your first time here, we have a Discord server. It is Dota 2 Ireland. We would love for you guys to join up, especially because we have a LAN upcoming very soon in the heart of Ireland in Belfast. You're welcome to join us, even if you aren't Irish. Isn't that right, Moth? Lovely community.
A banger community, yeah. Super welcoming. Even to the most unwanted to be welcome people, such as the British. It's like another home. So yeah, really lovely people. Get in there if you're not in there already.
We'd love to see you there. It'll be taking place on the 18th and 19th of April. Belfast, one of the cities of culture of Europe for the last 5 years. It's won it twice. It is a fantastic place for a night out, even better than Dublin, which is a hard thing for me to say. 18th and 19th of April. Cheap accommodation compared to most places in Ireland and the UK. Cheap flights to an international airport in the city. If you want a semi-social, semi-competitive event, it is the one for you to go to. We would love to see you there. Last thing to say, if you liked this game tonight, you like some of these players, you like Solar Crest, you like Faith Kian, please do tune in tomorrow evening, twitch.tv/runandtell. We'll be seeing both of these players playing in the Kobold League tomorrow. Myself and Auntie going to be taking up that cast. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Maniac, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You were absolutely wonderful. It's nice to have the old duo back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to be back, and hopefully see you all again soon.
Peace. And a quick thank you, as always, before we peace very quickly, to our OBS, the unsung heroes of this community. Auntie, as always, catching every kill like a sniper rifle. Incredible stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you again very soon. See you then, guys.